What's up, everyone? I'm Kieran,
I'm Trey.
and welcome back to this week's episode of Builder Sports Live. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Builder Sports Live. Is now we give you an in-depth look of what's been going on around campus the last week. We're starting off with men's golf. They were at the Midwest National Spring Invite at the Colbert Hills Golf Course last week. They come out with a 10th place overall finish, and Drew Graham led SC to with a 27th place finish, shooting 76, 76, 78 for an overall score of 230 and shooting 14 over par on the day. And then on the B team side, they headed to the Bethany College Classic at the Sand Creek Station Golf Course. They take a 10th place finish home, shooting an overall score of 977 for 3 rounds, and Nico Newton-Boom led SC. He finished 34th overall, shooting 23 over on the weekend.
Women's golf, they were at the Bethany College Classic as well. That's at Sand Creek Station. Lauren Kelly had a great individual performance. She was leading after day one, finished 6th place, shot a round 1 79, round 2 87 for 166 finish, plus 22 overall. And then Jody Keener finished 22nd, rounds of 91 and 90 at plus 37. So.
And then on to baseball. A long week for them as they take on Friends and York in some KCAC matchups. They lose in the midweek matchup in Wichita at Friends by a score of 12-0 in 7 innings. And then they head up to York, Nebraska for the weekend series. They fall in Game 1, 10-0, and fall in Game 2, 5-0. And then they bring up a nice win to round out the weekend in Game 3 with a 7-3 win over the York Panthers. Rayshon Dorsey, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a homer in that win. Braden Roberts also hit a solo bomb. And then Peyton Ramsey takes the win, throwing 5 complete innings pitched with 2 earned runs allowed.
Softball, they had a doubleheader at the University of St. Mary. Game 1, they lost 2-10. Game 2, lost 4-5. And then they hosted Kansas Christian College. Game 1, they won 12-9. Laney Hardman had 4 hits and 3 RBIs. Faith Howard had 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Emma Williston threw a complete game win. And then Game 2, they won big, 15-1. 6 different players for the Mound Builders had 3 hits. Ellie Cusiera had 4 RBIs, and then Faith Campbell, pitched a complete game win. 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts. So a great turnout for the softball team there. And then they had a doubleheader versus Tabor College. That was their senior day. Game 1, they lost 2-11. Game 2, they end up dropping 9-1. So.
Yeah, and then to continue over the weekend, the men's and women's track program head up to Hillsboro for the Tabor College Invitational. I encourage you all to check out social media on the Builder Sports accounts. You'll see all the graphics for all of them, a couple top 15 KCAC performers, and a bunch of PRs across the last 2 weeks. We'll start off with Derek Ponce Gonzalez. He wins the 3K steeplechase with a time of 12:37. He earns himself that nice W t-shirt to take home. And then Ben Patowski, he finishes 5th in the 100-meter with a time of 10:96. That places him 14th overall in the KCAC heading into the last stretch of the season, which is a great place for him to be in. Abigail Eckert finishes 6th in the long jump with a PR of 4.49 meters. And then Vanessa Mendoza adds herself to that PR list for about the 3rd week in a row with a 10th place finish in discus, throwing 33.39 meters. And that whole throw group as a whole is just PRing week after week now.
Flag football, they hosted Midland University, 14th ranked, for their senior night, their lone senior Viviana Solis. It was a great game start to finish. They end up losing 13-14, but I think a great showing for the flag football team.
Yeah, definitely a great showing from them. You're hoping they pull out a win against a ranked team, as only the top 8 teams this year will make the national tournament for flag, and now you head into the KCAC tournament next week, and you're hoping to pull off an upset.
Yeah.
And then we'll head over to men's tennis. They have 2 KCAC matches and 1 non-con match last week. They take on McPherson and lose by a score of 7-0. They fall 6-1 to Kansas Wesleyan and then 7-0 to Baker.
Women's tennis, same matchups. Women's side, they end up losing 0-7 versus McPherson, 0-7 versus K-Dub. and then dropped the third one 0-7 versus Baker. So.
Yeah, as the spring season now is starting to wrap up, we encourage everyone make your way out to a couple Builder home games, as this will be the last 2 weeks of everything before the KCAC tournaments come around, and before that, it's finals week and the school year's over.
Summertime.
It's
Summer's
almost
here.
there. We thank you guys for watching this section of the episode, and we'll see you all in a bit.
Southwestern Athletics is proud to partner with the Barns at Timber Creek, a premier bed and breakfast, wedding, and outdoor venue near Wichita, Kansas. At the Barns, you'll enjoy the charm of the 1890s with all the comforts of today. Relax in the peaceful country atmosphere, take in the starlit skies, and watch deer, turkeys, and fireflies across the summer pastures. Owners Martin and Cheryl Rood have created the perfect place for a quiet getaway or a memorable event.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks, Trey. Thanks, Kieran. We'll get back to you guys here in a little bit. We're going to talk a little soccer now, a little men's soccer here. We've got a couple of players. Head coach Lee Howarth going to join us as well and find out what's going on here in the offseason. Zach Hammar, a Winfield native, junior here at Southwestern, joining us. Zach, great to see you.
Oh, great to be on.
Always fun to get to visit with you, and here we get to do it in front of folks. People get to see what we talk about.
Great time for everybody to see this.
I know. Hey, you know, your role, I guess, your journey to Southwestern has been interesting. 4-year starter at Winfield High School. You were the AVCTL Player of the Year, and then went to Ottawa for a couple of years, and then came back to Southwestern for your junior season. Just talk about your journey to where you are right now.
Yeah, so I came out of high school. I wanted to experience the world, move around more a bit. I've been in Winfield my whole life, born and raised, so young kid, I wanted to get out of here, experience something new. Had an opportunity to go to Ottawa, went there. It was a good program, nothing bad to say about them. Real good time there. But then Mom had some health issues, wanted to come back home and help her out a bit more, and then took one visit here, and it was just a perfect fit. I loved everything here. I loved how they were building the program, and it's been great ever since. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
It's not terribly unusual and you remember your friends from high school. I mean, folks are ready to get out and about. I think it's cool that you have come back here. What was it like, your first season playing at Southwestern, playing on the field that you had so many great moments in high school?
Yeah, it was surreal, really. It brought back so many memories just being here, all the games and everything, and just getting me back on there again just felt so great, and just a lot of memories that came back and forth.
You have such a rich soccer knowledge. You saw the system at Ottawa. What intrigued you about what Coach Lee does here at Southwestern, and how did you feel like you performed in that role in the system here at Southwestern?
Yeah, I really like the system he has here. When I first came in, it was a new formation that I've never played before, and I was a bit worried coming into that and how I was going to fit into the scheme of things, but coming in, and when we really bought into the system early on in the season, you could just see that it was clicking really well, and he had the right players for the system, and it just worked really well.
It just seems like the camaraderie on this team, and I've seen this in Coach Lee's progression. He's got the guys that he wants, that he knows how to win with now, and we saw that success last year going 10-9.
Oh, 100%. He knows the guys to bring in. Whenever we have anybody on a visit, the first thing we're always looking into is character. And that's been the biggest thing in the program. And you can just see that from the first guy on the roster to the last guy on the roster. It's going to be great character everywhere on the field. And that's just something you can always appreciate because no matter what you're doing with the team, any guy on the roster is going to be a good time. It's always a good person. And they're some of my best friends, so can't wish for anything better.
As long as I've known you, you have played year-round soccer. And, of course, the season, the men's soccer season is in the fall. What has the offseason been like for you, and what have you and the team been doing?
Yeah, off-season's been real good. We have our 6 a.m. practices, which are a bit rough, 2 times a week, and then weights been a good one. A couple scrimmages with the team, and we're looking to have a couple more scrimmages before the spring's over with. But a lot of the boys have been getting out on the course, and we've been tearing that place up too and building some good camaraderie there.
How is your golf game?
It's not up to the soccer game yet, but we're building. We're building.
What are your hopes for next season here? How far can this team go?
I think sky's the limit, really. With the players that he's looking to bring in and the structure that we already have set up here and the culture that we're building, I think it's just going to keep going up every year. I don't see this place stopping at any point.
And where do you I know in high school, I mean, you could play anywhere. Midfield was where I know you just were a part of all the action. Where are you playing here?
Yeah, I'm playing in the midfield, dropping a little deeper, creating more from the back, and then playing just anywhere in the midfield, wherever coach needs me, really. Just always wanted to be on that field.
Yeah, I know. You'll play. You'd probably play in the net, wouldn't you?
Yeah, anything to help the team.
Zach, I'm so glad that you're at Southwestern, and I just can't wait for this upcoming season for you and continued success, and hopefully the golf game gets better.
I'm hoping.
Zach Hammar, Winfield native, mound builder now. We're so happy that he is here. Let's take a break. We will have more with men's soccer here on Builder Sports Live. Hey, welcome back here to Builder Sports Live. Love talking soccer, and we've got Nicola Antiglio.
Yeah.
Antiglio.
Right.
You got to say it for me.
Antiglio.
There we go. Nico is a grad student here at Southwestern, a defender, and from Italy.
Yeah.
This was your first year in America.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience. What's it been like for you?
Yeah. Okay. Like last season, it went pretty well. We achieved our goal that was make more points than the season before and go to playoff, and so we did. So we were really happy about that. And also personally, I think I did a really good season because I played every game and consider the fact that was my first season here, and I got quickly used about the American soccer style, even if it's pretty different from Italian one because it's really the intensity is really high, and like most of the team want to play man on man, full press, so we have to run a lot. But I played every game, so I'm pretty happy.
How hard was that adjustment for you to acclimate yourself to the American style of soccer?
Yeah, it at the beginning was pretty hard because I didn't have experience about that, but with practice and a lot of pre-game in the preseason, I got used about that, and the system we used to play it's easy for me because we play with 3 defenders, and so I like it, and I'm doing really well.
Center back Coach Lee saying that he couldn't even get you off the field. He had to have you out there all the time. What do you like about being on that back line?
Yeah, I like that I can see all the field and how the game is going, and so I can control and speak with my teammates and like lead them in the right position, and so I like that.
You had such a good season. Where do you think you can get better? What do you want to improve on for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I would like to be brave on the ball and be better from the building from the keeper, and no, I would like to do better in the league. So we want to do better every year. So we want to make more points and go to the playoff. And because last time we sent off we not out at the first round, but we want to go over.
Your teammates, some American, some international.
Yeah.
It just seems like this group has really come together. Are there some players in particular that have really helped you along this season?
Yeah, for sure. Zach Hammar,
Yeah.
my roommate, and yeah, I play on my left. There is a Spanish guy, on my right, English guy. So we are all international, but we help each other, and that's really interesting things because in this period of life we are building an important relationship that will remain forever. So I like these things.
How have you found the school side of Southwestern? What agricultural science
Yeah.
major? How have you liked your professors here, and how has school been going for you?
It's going really good. I like the academic program. After my graduation in Italy last year, I received the opportunity to come here, and I thought that it was a really big chance for me to continue my study, play soccer in a college, and see the world from another perspective. So I took it, and I'm here. I try to do my best, and that's it.
So glad that you're here. Now we're on the internet here, and will any folks from Italy be watching? And if so, do you want to say hi to them? In fact, do you want to say hi to them in Italian if you like?
Okay. Okay, I say hi to my mom and to my father, my parents. Ciao mamma, ciao papà. Vi mando un abbraccio.
Love that. Nico, great to meet you, and
Yes, for me.
so excited that you're here at Southwestern, and we'll be following you closely for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Nico Antiglio joining us here. We'll bring in head coach Lee Howarth next here on Builder Sports Live. And welcome back. Boy, what a pleasure to visit with Zach and Nico. And now we bring in head coach Lee Howarth, who just finished year number 3 here at Southwestern, and things just keep progressing. Coach, thanks for taking some time out here. Fun to talk a little men's soccer in the spring.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely a slower time for us. Not as interesting as we'd like it to be, but yeah, it's good to see you again.
You know, so much to talk about with you in a short amount of time, but I got to talk about the two players you brought here today. For Zach Hammar to be back in Winfield playing at Southwestern has to be really cool. I know you saw him play some in high school, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Nico, talk about those two players here.
Yeah, Zach we knew for a long time when I was here as an assistant coach, and then I actually helped Arc City out for a little bit, so had to deal with him on the field in the nicest way possible. How good he was at high school. And it kind of came in my transition period. Trying to recruit Zach as a freshman he was already he wasn't really being approached by Southwestern at the time when I took over, and I knew he wanted to get out and go. And then we were able to connect over last summer and talk about the opportunity of him coming back, and that was huge for us. I think bringing such a good player back in. And getting him around the guys and started okay. I think it took a little bit of time for Zach to get his feet underneath him for sure. And I think more than anything, I think it's just building that confidence back up. I think, more than all of us, the confidence he had at high school and what he had there. I think bringing him back and getting the confidence back was the biggest part of his season. And then towards the back end of the season, started a lot of games. The game he played against Ottawa, which I unfortunately only got to watch 20 minutes because of a serious injury. I had to go and take a guy to the hospital. He was one of the best players. He got the assist. We were very unlucky not to win that game. And then obviously we brought Nico in as a master's student. We had a lot of videos sent from him, from his agency. And he's come in and, like he said, he's played every single game. He's been a massive key for us in the centre-back role. We had a sophomore and a freshman either side of him. And, technically he's almost a freshman in his own experience anyway. If it's your first year playing over here, it's a big adjustment. It's a lot of games quickly. It's a lot of intensity. It's a lot on the body. And for him to stay fit and growing all throughout the year was huge because internationals normally break pretty easily over here. We kept him fit, and he's a massive piece. And so nice that we can now have him for the second year as well, which has been huge that we can rely on him coming back as well.
Recruiting such a huge piece of college athletics, and Zach talked about the character of these guys, and I look across our programs here at Southwestern. Everyone wants to win, of course, but you got to bring in the right guys, and I know Matt O'Brien implores that, and he tries to practice that as well with the men's basketball team. How difficult is it? Recruiting, you want to get high-level players, but you also need to get high-level character guys.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most frustrating part. I think with spring, I really enjoy the recruitment because I enjoy bringing the right guys. We really rely on the guys that we have. We really rely on these guys when we bring visits and bring guys over, is to make sure we rely on these guys to understand what characters we're after. So when they come in and practice, the group of guys and how close-knit and how tight they are has been massive, because you can see in the immediate in practice about how much someone can kind of fit into what we have, or if they don't. And I think that has to go over everything. We kind of talk about it almost being like almost throwing like an ego bomb into a dressing room. And if you've got the right group, then that doesn't spread. It's not like wildfire, but it's hard for us to assess that off the bat. And then, that's easy for guys that are local, guys that we can bring in. A lot harder when you do it with internationals. That's a lot of phone calls, a lot of getting to know someone over the phone and their videos and those kind of things, which is why we have a really healthy mix. I think we have about 70% of the actual roster that is domestic-based, a lot of guys that can come and visit and get involved. But the character, it makes my job easier. When I took over the program, there's some off-field silly stuff that goes on. It's college, I think we all deal with. I was dealing with a lot more than I wanted to when I first took over and didn't really have my own group. And now I feel like this is my group and these are my guys. And there's a real large amount of respect that not for me, but for the program and what we're trying to achieve. That's obviously translated to wins. It's translated to a lot more success, the most success this program's ever had, which is a really nice feeling for me as a coach. but the character and the effort and the energy they put into training and into games and when they work for each other, like that's the best feeling. And that only comes when you have a good group of characters. We always say it's easy to have a good group of characters and it's easy to have a good culture when you're winning. It's a lot harder when there's a couple of losses in there. It's harder to keep guys motivating on the same page. And we bounce back on a lot of results and tough performances, and we bounce back a lot. And like I said, I think this is the first time we've had double-digit win season in 6 years, and the first time we've had a plus 500 season in 6 years as well. So it's been a real big step this year.
When you look back at the 2025 season, 10-9, I look at those last 4 games, Coach. 3 2-1 losses, including an amazing shot by York to beat you in the playoffs.
Yep.
This team was so close to even being better. What do you take away from the 2025 campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I loved every minute of it. I mean, we were in every game we played, and I've done it with a really, really young group. I mean, I think Zach is one of 3 seniors we'll have next year, and everybody else. I mean, Nico's a grad student. Zach's going into his senior year. Everybody else was freshmen, sophomores. Like, it was really, really young group, and we've done that for the last 2 years. It was a lot about building the character. And when I took over, I'd kind of give myself a 4-year model as to when we can be successful. We were successful in year 2. And I think that's a credit to the guys, and they've bought into what we want to do and how we want to do it. And that's been great. I think the biggest thing we take away, those last stretch of 4 games were the hardest games of the season. That's our big competition of guys in and around us. We flip a couple of those results. All of a sudden, we're finishing top 3, and we're getting ourselves a home berth. We had about 6 injuries going into those last 4 games, 5 or 6 injuries, couple of concussions to major players who were out. I mean, I was playing a centre-back in the midfield towards the back end of the season in a couple of those games, and although he did fantastically well, it's not the same as having your starting guy. So I think when we went and played York, we were down a handful of guys who were just coming back. And, you know, we were missing our starting goalkeeper for the York game as well, you know, which is always hard. So I think the biggest thing we take out of it, I think, especially as the group of guys, that's the first real year we've had such strong success and a strong, you know, we played some really, really tough non-conference games to see where we were at, and we had some really good results against those teams or just slightly missing out. And it's a maturing process for the large amount of the group that we have. So the biggest thing we take out is actually if we can stay fitter and healthier for a longer period of time and really prep that, maybe it's us for coaches to look at more recovery stuff. You know, some of those are some kicks and some knocks and some concussions. I think if we were able to stay healthy, that last year would have been special. So the idea is most of those guys are returning, and we're in a good spot.
I know. I love your patience with the process too, and then you understand that it isn't a quick fix, and you have to get to where you get to. Here we are in the spring now. Talk to Zach a little bit about what you do in the off season. You got a couple of spring games coming up. Talk about what you guys want to do here in this last month that you have these guys at least on campus in school.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that we have right now going on, what we do in spring, is we have a weights program that's designed towards them. It's probably less important for the juniors, seniors. They're already of a decent physical size. The biggest thing for our freshmen is the physicality is what outweighs a lot of those guys. So we have a structured weight program that allows them to kind of develop in the weight room. Everything we do on the field was more, the past couple months has been geared more structurally to individual development, and now we're kind of coming together as a team. And we'll have a lot of games coming up in the last week of April for us to kind of get a feel for them. I say to the guys all the time, the results not what matters. Results that we get in spring now, it's not going to make any difference to the fall and what happens there. So it's mainly just it's giving these guys an opportunity. I think the biggest thing, and what I said to them this morning, a couple years ago, I had 3 freshmen in the starting lineup. Well, last year, on any given day, I had 7 sophomores. So the biggest thing that shows us is the development that we're able to get from these guys during the spring season. They need to understand how important that season is. And so if we can keep up there, if we're going from 7 sophomores to 10 sophomores and, 5 freshmen to 6 freshmen, and you can keep that development, well, not only are you bringing guys in that can be ready to help you immediately, but you're also doing the right things and developing guys to progress them through as well, because that's what they want. So that's the important part of spring, is giving guys the opportunity to grow so that they can come in and help us in the fall.
Do we have any home dates, or will there be a chance for folks to maybe come on out and watch you guys at work?
Yeah, just scheduled this morning, actually. It was the 24th of April is the game where we'll play Heston at home, is in the works. I'm just getting the final few details, but hopefully 6:30 p.m. 24th of April against Heston. And then we have our alumni game on the 25th, which will be the day after, which will be a little bit tougher on the legs, but the Heston game's the one. And we actually play Cowley and Newman at Cowley on the 22nd, which is on the Wednesday evening.
And are these played like normal, or, with the spring game, do you as coaches try to maybe put situations out there, whatnot, or is it just played like a regular
We kind
game?
of just play like a regular game. The only real difference is we don't use, we won't go and get actual referees. It's a whole nother thing, but they charge a lot of money for them to come out, so we actually kind of prefer when we ref it ourselves between the teams. But yeah, it'll be played as an actual game, kind of get a foothold. Hard to kind of tell where you're at with Cowley because they'll use some of the sophomores that are moving on. They'll use some of those guys, but it'll be a good test against Newman and where they're at.
Love where you have this program going. I'm so glad that you are, here at Southwestern. What you're doing is amazing. And again, to see the success with the men's program is so fun for a longtime builder like me to see. And just glad what you're doing here.
Yeah, hopefully it keeps going. I've not had a season yet where we've had a worse season than my previous one. I know it's going to come eventually. I just hope it's not next year.
It will happen, I'm sure. But, yeah, hopefully not next year. Lee, thanks so much for coming in, and thanks for bringing the guys in here as well.
Thanks for having us.
Lee Howarth joining us here on Builder Sports Live. We're going to take a timeout. Trey and Kieran have more right after this. Graves Drug has everything you need in a pharmacy and more. From online refills and free local delivery to vitamins, medical equipment, and gifts, Graves Drug is your one-stop shop. Locally owned and serving the Winfield community for over 73 years, Southwestern College Athletics is proud to partner with Graves Wellness Clinic. Graves Drug is here for you.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Builder Sports Live. A huge thanks to Curt Caden for doing the interviews today with the men's soccer program, and we hope everyone enjoyed getting to know them and their aspect of Builder life a little bit more. And now we'll look ahead as what's going on around campus this week. We'll start on tonight. On Wednesday, softball will have a doubleheader at home at the Broadway Sports Complex against Friends. First pitch of Game 1 will be at 3, and then Game 2 at 5.
Tomorrow afternoon, baseball, they'll be at Heston College. That's a 3 p.m. first pitch. This is their makeup game. So,
yeah, and then Friday, the men's women's tennis team will be at home against St. Mary here in Winfield. Men's women's track, they'll head up to Salina for the Kansas Wesleyan Classic. Those Friday events will be the throwing events for the most part and the distance events that night, with the throwing events starting at 1 p.m. And then flag football will head to Fort Worth, Texas to take on Texas Wesleyan at 6 p.m. for their start time, and that'll be the back end of that home-and-home matchup this year.
Saturday, track and field, they'll finish up the Coyote Classic, again, a 1 p.m. start. Flag football, back-to-back, they'll be at Concordia University. That'll be at 12:30 p.m. And then softball will be at McPherson College for a doubleheader starting at 1 p.m.
And then we'll head into the new part of the week, Monday and Tuesday, April 20th and 21st. We start to see the beginning of KCAC conference tournament play. Golf on the men's side will begin the KCAC stroke play aspect of the KCAC tournament at the Buffalo Dunes Golf Course in Garden City, Kansas for that Monday and Tuesday.
And then just on Tuesday, baseball and softball will each have a doubleheader. Baseball is hosting Randall University. Games are at 1 and 4 p.m. Softball will host number 17, Evangel University. Their doubleheader will start at 2 and 4 p.m. So
yeah, this is wrapping up just about
busy
everything of the regular season this year here at Southwestern. So if you're looking for a last baseball or softball game to come out to, head out to Broadway next week on Tuesday and catch the Builders in action on both sides of the field right behind each other. And as always, Trey, we appreciate you guys watching this episode of Builder Sports Live, and we'll see you next Wednesday.